What up, YouTube? Before we start the video, we got a very important announcement for you.
That's right. We have our new milestone giveaway for 2,000 subscribers. That is a CGC 9.8 graded Thor #1. This cover is a Nick Klein sketch variant that is also signed by Donny Cates.
What? Are you crazy? Yes, we are. When we hit 2,000 subs, we're giving away this bad boy. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a like. It would be much appreciated because we want to give this away, but we only can do that when we hit 2,000 subs. Let's get to the video. What up, YouTube? I'm Jim.
I'm Nate.
And we are Two Fat Guys Pull Us, and we've got another new comic book day video for you for the week of March 20th. And it's not slowing down. You know, last week it was pretty heavy. This week it's it's pretty heavy. We have one less book, but it's not going to feel like it. I'm sure we'll pick up some other random issue and we'll be right back up there with the amount of books. But let's get it started, shall we? Let's just get right into the shit. First up, from Boom Studios, we've got Man's Best, issue #1. Yeah. And this looks freaking cool.
It does, yeah. As soon as I saw this cover, I was immediately intrigued. And then I saw the creative team and was like, okay. This is a writer and art duo that I've been seeing a lot of hype about before, but I haven't actually jumped into anything. So I was like, all right, this is going to be the one because Little Pets in Space, totally there.
So is the cover the same as the interiors?
Yes.
All right, yeah, this is gonna be great. I'm actually very excited for this, even though I don't know diddly squat about it.
I actually picked up the ash can of this and lost it. I forgot to read it, and then found it yesterday. So
there you go.
I could have had a sneak peek, but I didn't.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. All right, next up from Image or Skybound, we have Cobra Commander issue #3 from Joshua Williamson. You know, this is just kind of just the connecting of the dots, right? We're me and you are not as well versed with GI Joes as with some of the other stuff that's going on within this Energon universe, but it's still been really fun. You know, last issue we saw a guy get quite literally pummeled or smashed.
Yes.
And now, Cobra's trying to connect the dots in the sense of like getting Energon and taking advantage of it and seeing if he can wield the power of the Transformers, it would seem, because he's got freaking Megatron captured. It's a whole thing here, but he's about to get tortured. And
yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's the one thing about this book that's been disappointing for me is the lack of horror. And especially when not only was it, solicited as horror, but like Williamson was like, oh, get ready, it's gonna be horrific.
Right.
Not at all.
It's just been kind of gruesome at like very minimal amounts of gruesomeness, but that's not horror. All right, after that, we go over to Dark Horse, which we don't normally do a lot, but we've got Dark Horse. We got Ram V Dawn Runner, issue #1. And I've heard some crazy shit about this book. I mean, we've got giant robots. It looks like we're going to be fighting monsters. It's kind of like a cyberpunk style book. And, me personally don't have a lot of Ram on my list anymore, so I'm really excited to get him back on.
Yeah, I am the complete opposite. It had Ram's name, and I pre-ordered it. I actually didn't look at what it was about at all. I didn't see who the artist was. I saw his name and that it was an independent and from Dark Horse, someone that we don't have a lot. I just said this is an instant yes for me.
Yeah, well, I expect good things. I've some of the alternate covers for this book look freaking awesome, so I'm very excited for this book.
Yeah, especially I don't know if you've seen it, but the cover C, the Dike Ruan, who was the main interior artist for those Shang-Chi series that you were reading, that cover is really good. I might actually go with that instead of the A.
Ooh, yeah, that is pretty good. They're all good. I mean, if you scroll through them, I mean, there's some good stuff here. I'm
actually that Tua Lote 1 in 10 is really good.
They're all good. I'm if the covers are as good as what the story's gonna be, I'm super stoked. Like, let's just get to it. I'm ready for it. Man, I've got the gas right now. Oh, jeez. All right, next up we have If You Find This, I'm Already Dead, issue #2 from Dark Horse.
Yeah, that first issue was pretty good. It was, Matt Kent, however you say his name, he can be hit or miss for me, but most of the time it's a hit. And this was a lot of that is because he's very avant-garde with his with his writing style,
Yeah.
and he kind of always pulls his artists along with him to do something bizarre.
Hmm.
And I think this time he said, "You know what? I'm going to be a little bit more straightforward with what we're doing here." And um, he kind of put the Quentin Tarantino aside and just did something that's really cool, though, like really awesome. The premise is that um, we have made contact with another planet that is has hostile alien races, but somehow we've
Mm.
established a small stronghold there, and it's we're confident enough in its safety that we actually sent the first journalist to go with the military.
Okay.
And 2 minutes after she puts her feet on the ground, the entire military staff that went with her is dead, and not just dead, but like she watches their heads get exploded, their kneecaps get ripped off, like gruesome death. And she somehow escapes into this underground tunnel that she didn't know existed in the base and is stuck with other aliens down there. There's tons of alien races on this planet that they didn't know about. So super gruesome. Art was really great. Cool sci-fi story. And Matt doing his great um, world building as well. So yeah, this was in its magazine format, which I've officially
You're
become
all
a
about.
sucker for.
Yeah, you're like
So
all on that. Yeah.
I'm about it.
All right. All right. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, let's jump over to Marvel. We're gonna kick it off with Captain Marvel's issue number 6, and looks like Marvel or I don't remember. I can't remember the names, but
You guys, Genisvel and
Genisvel.
Teddy.
Yeah,
Teddy.
he's going after our beloved couple here,
Mhm.
the Skrull Kree Empire, and this book hasn't necessarily been down. It just feels like it's kind of flat. But
Yes.
with this new kind of push with the main story kind of coming in, if we can just get away from like the whole like family dynamic,
Mhm.
which is really odd for me to say because like I'm always about slice of life, but when it's forced, I'm not about it, and it kind of feels forced in this book. So let's get back to the story with this like ominous dark being that has eyeballs all over its body, controlling good and bad guys, and I know I'm rambling, but that's how the book kind of feels right now.
No, it is, and honestly, like, I actually was borderline on this series last issue, and then I saw this cover and was like, "Okay, like, no,
Yeah,
those are
yeah.
2 of my guys, so I'm gonna stick there." But we are officially on issue by issue. I've pulled this from my reoccurring pull, and now I'm just grabbing the issue,
On
you know.
day. See, the only reason why I haven't done that is because I made that mistake with Kelly Thompson's, right? Like I was like,
Mhm.
and then it got really good. So I'm hopeful, but and again, it's Alyssa Wong. We've loved her work.
Oh,
So
and that is one of the reasons why I've continued to keep it there. So
right, right. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see.
we'll see.
But yeah, it's a little, it just kind of feels a little
Your
flat right
boy's too broke to be throwing bones all the time, and
now. No,
especially at a Marvel book. As much as I love Wong's work, I'd rather
look,
throw it to their
I,
independent work than their.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. All right, after that, we have the Invincible Iron Man issue number 16. And I'm just going to tell you right now, I feel like the high of Gary Jerry currently is starting to wane dramatically. And I hate saying that. I don't like saying that. I really don't because I enjoy his stuff. I think he's a really good writer. I really like his ideas. But this X thing it just feels like he's being thrown aside by Marvel editorial. Also, I'm kind of over a Buster version of a new Iron Man suit. Now we've got the Sentinel Buster, and like to me, you know, when when Donnie did the Celestial Buster, I was like, okay, like you can't
You
do
really can't go
anything
above that.
else. Yeah, you can't go above that. So when we did the Sentinel Buster, it felt very anticlimactic. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, am I excited that Iron Man's got this new Mysterium suit? Fuck yeah, right? That sounds great. But the Sentinel Buster, it is what it is. And so, um, you brought up a really good question during our show notes before we started recording, which was what happens to this book after the fall of the House of X is over? Does it get canceled or
Yeah,
does it keep moving forward? You know,
I think there's no chance that it stays up. I think the only thing keeping this going is because it was tied into
the X Men.
X Men. And what's the story of this book when X Men is totally removed? What's the story of this
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
the only thing I can see is them, there being a mini arc of them getting uh
Rhodes.
Rhodey, yeah, out of jail, right? And then it's
Yeah.
over. I don't know, because like Tony and Emma Stone they're not going to be together after this. Like, they're done. Like,
Right.
so I don't know. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer anymore. So let's move on. Next up, we have Resurrection of Magneto, which is actually one of the bright spots in the House or Fall of the House of X. This has been an absolute gas. I mean, it's Al Ewing. He's writing two of the characters that he just kicks ass at, Magneto and Storm. And, he's diving deep into actual Hickman X-Men lore. And there are a few books that are doing that right now in the House or Fall of the House, which I applaud. Dead X-Men is doing that right now. Resurrection of Magneto is doing that right now. And this has been fantastic. I don't think we had a show when issue 2 came out and was reviewed, but it was going to be my pick of the week. Just because, Al Ewing knows how to write these characters, and he does his fucking homework when it comes to continuity that's been set up prior to this book being established. And I think that to me is rewarding as a reader,
Yeah,
it,
for sure.
and as much as it's him going, "Hey, remember this?" is like, "Oh no, you remember that, Al," and I love it, So,
Yeah, I sure don't, but I'm glad you do.
and I'm glad you do. And I'm glad I get to go look back and look at it. We'll see. Uh, what I like is that this isn't a easy out when it comes to resurrecting Magneto. We were very worried that it was going to be like, oh, the Five are back and let's resurrect Magneto because we need a savior. Like, no, it's much more deeper in that. I can't even get into it because it's so deep, and there's no better person to do it than Al Ewing. So super stoked for it.
Hell yeah.
All right, after that, from the King of Marvel, Jed MacKay, Moon Knight, Vengeance of the Moon
Moonlight.
Knight, issue number 3. We both are very positive that this version of Moon Knight is not Moon Knight. It is not Mark Spector.
Spectre, yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
and we think it might be what was his name? Zodiac. Might be the Zodiac killer, maybe.
Oh yes, yeah.
We'll have to see. I think what we're both hoping is it's not a fourth or fifth personality within Mark. We're hoping that it is someone completely different.
Yeah, yeah. I find it interesting too that League has officially changed the credit to Moon Knight 2. Um,
Oh,
I'm afraid that this mistaken identity or unknown identity, I mean, is going to get carried on for a long time. And
yep.
I'm not very about that. I also totally trust Jed MacKay. So, like, he doesn't really get a limit or a leash. Like, I'll ride this run out no matter how bad it gets.
Right.
But it's still, I would really like an answer sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, though, just looking at solicitations, it totally seems like this mistake or this unknown identity will carry through Blood Hunt, which means that gets us through the entire summer.
Look, uh, he is running Marvel. Like
Well,
it's.
that yes,
I
100%.
mean, he's got a Moon Knight book. He's got the Avengers. He's about to do the main X-Men book. Like,
Also,
he's
Doctor Strange.
and Doctor. He's just writing everything. So you're right. Like, if it was anybody else, we'd be like, what the fuck? But we're gonna give it the pass because the guy's just cooking right now. He is everything that we wanted Joshua Williamson to be over at DC, and he's
Yes.
royally screwed that up, in my opinion. I know I'm probably gonna get some heat for that, but it's just
Oh,
like,
not over here. Not for
well,
me.
yeah, not over here. But Jed MacKay is just killing it right now. So I am excited for
Yeah,
this. Love the cover too.
yeah, it's good.
All right, next up from Karen Gillan, we have X-Men Forever, issue number 1. And essentially, what we're being solicited to in this book is we're going to get all the answers that we've been asking for since Immortal X-Men started. And look, listen, what this issue is I don't have enough issues to cram everything that I need to get told in my Rise of the House of whatever, which one he's writing. I don't remember. And so I've got to have another, I've got to do another one of these. And also Marvel's like, yes, do that because then we can sell more books. But there are some burning questions that I would like hopefully to get answered. Do I believe the solicitations? Not one bit. Not one freaking bit. Nothing will be answered except maybe a little thing here, right? But all signs point to Jean coming back and becoming the Phoenix. Like I would assume that the Phoenix is going to be the linchpin to the reset of it all, right? For everything to be back to normal, if you will,
She's a cosmic entity, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is the scapegoat, if you will. No, go ahead.
We also have a headlining book coming out that we know for a fact called Phoenix.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's pretty. The writing's on the wall. I'm gonna read it. I'll treat it as a silly goose time, and if you can prove me otherwise. Now, that being said, Karen Gillan's Fall of House of the X book, Rise, is actually really good. It's much better than Gary Jerry's because it's actually connecting dots at a pace that makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's my rant. Thank you
for I'll say one good thing about this book, because obviously I'm not reading it. Great cover.
Cover's great.
Great cover.
Yeah, for sure. All right, after that, we've got Star Wars Visions issue number 1, The Ronin and the Droid. I think we had one of these already once. That was kind of like the retelling of the show. But if I'm not mistaken, this is kind of like we're pushing past that. We're going past that original issue, and then I think, or no, is this just one off?
I think it's just a one off. Well, it like still plays in like thematically with last year's.
So hopefully it moves on, because I think the last one was more of kind of like a retelling of what we saw. But no, there wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little bit of a new story. I like it. I think Visions as a show is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
This specific story within Visions was just kick-ass. And if you don't know it, essentially we've got this Ronin who was a Sith Lord who basically found or moved to the light side, or he's kind of in the middle, but he's more leaning towards the light side of the Force. And he's hunting, or well, he's not necessarily hunting, but the Sith find him, right? It's kind of easy when they kind of know when they have a Sith Lord that's kind of defected. And it's a really cool story. I like the character. I like the idea of Visions. I think there needs to be more stories coming out of those Vision stories into comics or manga, and hopefully they do, because this is one of the cool ones. Now, I'm not saying not all of them are good, but this one's really kick-ass. So hopefully we'll get more of it. I'm looking forward to it. Silly goose time.
I actually wasn't going to get this one, and then I just realized I think I already pre-ordered it because of the amazing Peach Momoko variant cover.
Right.
And if I own the book, I might as well read it. So,
well, for sure. I mean,
I will read it.
It's good shit.
I just haven't read the previous issue or seen the show, so
you should. Well, I mean,
behind.
So it's just one story, right? So in Visions, there's like multiple stories, and so this is the first episode of the first season, and I highly recommend watching it.
This is supposed to be his prequel, so technically I can break Star Wars rules and read this first and still be in chronological order.
You could, yeah. I recommend watching this episode. It is so fucking awesome. It's so good. Hey, I'm interrupting the video. It's only because I've got something really important to tell you. I know you know what we're giving away when we hit 2,000 subscribers. I gotta let you know about what we're giving away when we hit 1,250 subscribers. We're giving away this Uncanny X-Men #1 signed by Jim Chung, CGC grade 9.8. When we hit 1,250 subscribers, you could potentially win this, but you have to be subscribed to our channel. So hit that sub button, ring that bell, give us a like. Let's get back to the video, shall we? All right, jumping over to DC, we got World's Finest issue number 25, oversized 20th issue. Oh my god!
Oh yay! We're so excited for that.
Not really, but it's World's Finest.
Don't care because of these guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good no matter what. And Dan Moore is there, and Wade's there, and so I'll potential pick of the week. Oh no, what?
Sorry.
No, what happened?
I was cover searching again, and I'm not.
You got to stop this guy.
I know the Dustin Win. It's just so adorable. It's so awesome.
Let's see here.
It's like his classic style. but they're also like little guys. You pass it.
Was it? Oh, was it this one? Oh, it's this one.
That one.
It was pretty good.
I love his style so much.
Well, we'll see how the issues
Anyway.
go, but yeah, the covers are great.
Yeah, I'm curious. Right now, we have a defined breakage of artists in this issue. It's not just Dan Mora, so I'm curious how many of these 40 pages are Dan Mora, and how many are Steve. Not to knock Steve Peely's actually very good, but Dan Mora's Dan Mora.
Only time will tell. All right, after that, we have Green Lantern War Journal issue number 7. And now that we've got the revelation of what's going on with Earth, do you think we'll get any connectivity there, or will Philip Kennedy Johnson just cook over here?
I really hope so, at least to a small amount, especially because this issue starts a new arc. We already had the big battle between John and the Revenant Queen, and so now we're kind of going to be going on a quest outside of Earth. So I would like for it to at least be addressed. However, if it isn't, it will still make sense because they're deucing out of Earth in this issue. So, it would make sense that Hal doesn't have the opportunity to explain the situation. He also deuced off Earth immediately. So,
Oh, yeah, no, he dipped.
Actually, now that I'm like talking it out, it probably won't be mentioned in this issue, and that's fine. But I'm really looking forward to this. I still think this is the better of the two Green Lantern books. It's really close because they're both great. But I do think this one's a little bit stronger because it adds an extra emotional oomph that's missing in the Hal book. But they're both really great. So.
All right. After that, we have Superman issue number 12. A race against time to save Lex Luthor.
Yay. That was the best delivery of exactly how I feel.
This book started off so hot, and now it feels like we're kind of spiraling out of control. And it's Williamson, right? So like, big explosion at the beginning, and then we kind of just flounder around. I'm not gonna commit to say that this is on a issue by issue basis yet, but this issue will determine if that ends up happening. Because I know we're inching closer to this like Brainiac arc, which again, I have nothing against Brainiac. I'm not like, Brainiac, like
right.
I'm much more into Brainiac than Beast Boy World, and Night Terrors. But that being said, it's, I don't trust Williamson. I just don't. Like, I feel like we've been kind of strung along by him for about a year and a half, and I'm kind of tired of it. So, make this book as good as it was when we first started reading it. That's my request.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think it's going to get there, especially because we do not have Jamal Campbell on the interiors. And I said it multiple times that he is
the lifeblood of the book.
Part of the lifeblood of this book, and he's not there all of a sudden. The other
thing
our
too, artist from last week or last month.
Yeah. David Baldeon is on this too, so I am excited about that. If he stayed on as the interior artist, I would actually be totally cool with that. I would prefer Jamal, but I would love David on there as well. But of course, that's not going to be the case. We have Rafa Sandoval, who's good on his own right, but just doesn't really fill the tone of this book. I'm just
so tired of that shit, man.
And of course, don't forget, we've also dropped Action Comics, and if we want to keep up with House of Brainiac, we have to pick that up because it goes back and forth, and also Green Lantern, Power Girl, also dip into this as well. I think it's just those other two books. Yeah, it looks like Green Lantern for the next 2 or 3 issues is going to somehow dump into this, even though he literally just left Earth. Yeah, Green Lantern for 3 issues. Oh, sorry, this is not a a talk of this Superman issue, but obviously we're quite disappointed with the future of Superman compared to where we were at the dawn of DC. Sucks.
Moving on. Last book of the night, Wonder Woman issue number 7 from Tom King. Looks like Superman's getting involved here too. The last issue I thought was really good. If you didn't read the massive chunks of not dialogue, just explaining
prose,
to
just
yeah,
bullshit prose.
yeah, just explaining to me what I'm looking at, which I don't like. I can look at it. I don't mean to end the show on this kind of note, but like I'm probably going to do the same thing. Like if it's not a dialogue, like if it's not an actual speech bubble coming from the characters, I'm probably not reading it, and I'm just going to look at the pictures. Like I know that sounds horrible, but you know, if you know, when I didn't read all that text, the issue was awesome. You know, we had Wonder Woman kicking ass.
Yeah.
You know, we had the Washington Memorial like literally being flung in the air at Giganta and getting her knocked. Like, it was cool. It was so cool. So, you know, that's probably what I'm going to be doing for this issue. I'm just being honest.
I actually purposely put this issue at the very bottom of my stack every week so that if I run out of time, this is the one I miss. Because I feel like at this point I'm reading it so that you're not reading your own.
Yeah.
Because I have never really picked up steam with this book.
But
it
look,
just
wait.
keeps going lower.
Before we end the show, like, look, listen, we are not. Oh, Wonder Woman's not Wonder Woman because we're not.
No.
That's
It's actually the opposite. I'm upset with this because Tom King won't shut the fuck up about everyone but Wonder Woman.
right.
Wonder Woman's thoughts have not been spoken one time in the thousands and thousands of text that he's put into this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I just want to make
why
sure
I'm
that people
frustrated
aren't getting like the wrong point.
No,
Like,
and that's the only reason why I picked this book up is because I wanted a good Wonder Woman story. I wanted the character to be represented well, and I just don't feel like that's happening here.
well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
I like the cover.
yeah, cover's good.
All right, that's going to do it for this week's new Comic Book Day video for the week of March 20th. Let us know down in the comments, what are you picking up today? What are you reading first? And what's your potential pick of the week? Let us know. You know, as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a like. It'd be much appreciated as we're on the road to 1,250 subscribers. You know, and we're giving away some pretty cool stuff. You saw it throughout the video, and you know, the only way you can win it is if you subscribe. So please hit that sub button. Catch us live this Sunday, 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, where we'll talk about all these books and more. And just have a silly goose time, talk to one another, talk with the chat, hang out. We don't really drink, so we're not going to drink any beer or anything. But yeah, we'll hang out.
Drink seltzer water.
There you go.
No flavor.
Not a sponsor.
Water.
Polar. Anyway.
Target brand, don't worry.
But yeah, we'll catch you guys this Sunday. As always, fam, be kind to one another and read more comics. Later.